Hello and welcome to the Dinocast. I'm Shaun and I'm here with Adam.
Hey!
And we're going to be talking about like games and TV and stuff. Are you down for talking about some games and TV and stuff?
Absolutely. Grab a drink.
Alright, so just to quickly go over, since the last Dinocast, and it has been a while, that was Adam's fault, we have had several games of gold, including Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, Hoa, Adios, and The Veil, Shadow of the Crown. We've released videos on all of those to give our first impressions. Adam, have you played any more of any of those?
Just Adios, really. I finished it. Very quick game. Yeah, good.
Superb. I still have a couple of them on my Xbox, but I have no interest in playing them right now because of what we'll be talking about in the gaming section. But Adam, first, what have you been playing yourself, my good sir?
Okay, so a few things. As you know, I do like to go back to games because my time is short. I'll often play a game, but if I enjoy it, I'll keep it on the Xbox. So I went back to Kingdom 2 Crowns.
Nice.
Yeah, and I thought, right, let's progress this. Let's really get on this. And I got to the fourth island on my saved game. And
Yep.
it was going really well. And then all of a sudden, I got this big, huge attack of what is it? Chaos, isn't it? Chaos? Yeah, pretty sure. Yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
I got this big, huge attack, and there was these massive guys to fight, and these flying creatures to fight.
Yeah.
And there was like. I think there was like 8 of these massive guys and 4 of these flying creatures and a ton of the smaller guys. And I was like, what the? And they just battered down all my walls. They took my crown and that was that. I was like, oh, man. So then I had to start, well, not necessarily start again, but so on this game, every island so when you land on an island and you build it all up, as soon as you leave that island, it starts to decay. And depending on the amount of time that's been passed, depends on the amount of time of decay on that island. So I had to go back to the first island.
Also the state you leave them in. If
Yes.
you leave them well defended and well barricaded and stuff, they'll do better than if you're just like, see ya!
Yeah, bye. Take the money. Go.
Good luck.
Yeah.
As you sail over the horizon.
Bye. So I didn't. So there's a couple of things I'm about to come up on this. I didn't understand a few things when I first came into this game, and I didn't remember, obviously having not known it beforehand, that I didn't know it previous. It all makes sense in a second. So I've gone back to the first island. And it had been, I think, 200 and something days since I'd been on this one. So nothing was there. And I built it all back up. The build-up's actually quite quick, because once you've built up, all you need to do is click on it again, pay a certain amount, and it'll build it back up to the state it was.
Yeah.
So straight away. So it's relatively quick like that. Anyway, worked all my way back to the fourth island. Thought, right, okay, this time. Not understanding this key thing that I'm about to say, I got a massive wave of these guys again, and it weren't just 8 this time. There was 12, and there was even more flying birds. And I was like, "What the hell is going on?" And so then I suddenly remembered the key thing that I have found out after I stopped playing, and that is time on the game is continuous. So the more time you spend getting through these islands, the more powerful the enemy gets. So if you spend all your time destroying everything there possibly is on all those 3-4 islands, by the time you get to the fourth island, of course, they're so unbelievably strong, they just wipe you all out. And I'd found that out after I'd stopped playing, but forgotten. I didn't realise that. So the game's a loss. Like my whole entire save, it's a loss. There's no way I can possibly win now. So I've got to delete it and start again in the mind now and the knowledge now that do not destroy everything. I'm going to just build up the defences as much as I can. Do not destroy the gates, because the more gates you destroy, the stronger they get as well. I didn't know that fact either. And
yeah, it's a game of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You start on Island 1, and as quickly as possible, you want to get to Island 3, build your defences, get as many knights and that on the ship with you, get to 4, build a fortress, because each island unlocks a
power-up.
A power-up of sorts. So, like, you need to get stone, and then you need to get proper masonry and stuff like that. And, like, building guard towers full of archers who can be outside the city walls is vital, and all stuff like this. And, it's wonderful. Getting the catapult with the flaming barrels. Get as many flaming barrels, like, stacked up as you possibly can.
Yeah, exactly. So I found that out.
But it's wonderfully addictive, though, isn't it? I haven't played that in a long time. I think I read they've recently released a new expansion or something. So I might have to have another go at that.
I mean,
game.
Guys, if you're listening and you haven't played it, Kingdom 2 Crowns, download it. It is an awesome game. You'll love it. So yeah, I found that out, and that was disappointing. So I'm giving that a break. I will go back to it, and I will start another game properly this time. Because I'm a bit of a completionist. So when I was on that first island, I was like, right, let's just do everything. Everything's going to be done. I'm going to do absolutely everything I possibly can. And that was obviously the wrong move. From the start, it was just like, yeah, okay. I screwed myself from day one, and I didn't even know it. So
I do think that's part of the joy of the game, though. Unlike a lot of similar kind of games, I do like the fact that it teaches you by beating you to death. And then you realise what you went wrong. And then, like you said, I had a playthrough like you. Oh, I actually probably am better off restarting, because I probably can't finish this now. And I learned a harsh and bitter lesson from that.
Yeah, very bitter lesson, definitely. Oh man. So, but yeah, that was a wonderful game, and I definitely will go back to it. So yeah, I played that for a bit, and then I'm trying to remember the timeline. Then I went on to, I went back to, I think, Halo Infinite.
Mm-hmm.
And I went all the way through that, completed that, lovely. There's still a few achievements and little side missions to do, so I'll probably will, when I've got a bit of time, go back on that. And it's another wonderful Halo game, really. Nothing special, I wouldn't have said. Like, it's not a standout one, so it's kind of like the standard Halo you get. But yeah, it's definitely, if you're a fan of Halo, you're gonna like it. So yeah, there's that one. But then I think it was around about the time I heard the announcement of Assassin's Creed next game coming out, which is Mirage, and I suddenly thought, ooh, right, I'm gonna want that, and I'm gonna want to play that, but because of the way I've been playing Assassin's Creed games, and that's to complete the stories before I move on, I then jumped back on Valhalla, and now I'm trying to complete the story on that before Mirage comes out.
When's Mirage out then?
August.
Oh,
I
right.
believe. Yeah, I think I'm correct on that. I will just double check. Oh, I was off slightly. 12th of October. It is.
Oh, that's more like it.
Yeah, 12th
So it's
of
out a bit
October
before
is,
Christmas to get the hype up, but it's there
Yeah.
for when, for the big buying season.
Yeah. So still earlier than the others, I believe. But yeah, so yeah, looking forward to that for sure. So yeah, I'm back on the Valhalla. Valhalla's got a lot of criticism. Everybody said like it's not their favourite one. Some people have even said it's the worst one. I don't know. I'm quite enjoying it, really. I mean, it's not my favourite one. That's for sure from the start. I'll say that. But it's not the worst one by far. And the good thing
What
about
is
this
the
one
last
as
one?
well,
What is the worst one? Put you on the spot.
the worst one for me. Ooh. The worst one for me, I would have said was. Oh, I'm going to get a lot of criticism for this, I know. The worst one for me was Odyssey. For a very different reason. Now, if you take Odyssey out of the Assassin's Creed and treat it as its own game, it's a fantastic game. It really is a good game. But I found no link to the assassins in it. That there really is no link. It's more about like you get all the upgrades that the assassins get, but there's not really any connection. There's no. It's almost like you've stumbled upon the abilities that the assassins have. Like, you don't really speak to any assassin, and you don't really find any of their temples, and you don't really unlock like any of the normal abilities and stuff like that. You just automatically sort of really have them. And I found that disconnection very it took me out, because I follow Assassin's Creed because you're following the Creed. You're following all these characters from history that are a part of the Creed, that made the Creed. And yeah, there wasn't really anything. It's more about finding Atlantis, really, and protecting Atlantis' secrets. And
of course it fucking is. I was just about to say, isn't that pre the Assassins? And didn't they try to rein in and make it a bit more grounded? And then you're like, oh, it's about fighting Atlantis. Of course it fucking is.
Exactly. It's just like, really? Come on, man.
I know. I sound weirdly bitter about Assassin's Creed because of how pissed off I was about the whatever the last game I played was. But if you put Atlantis into normal stuff that I enjoy, I'm normally dead all for it. So I'm certain if I was still playing Assassin's Creed games, I'd be like, Atlantis? Hells yeah, I want to fight some mermen and romance the mermaids.
Yeah.
And the mermen. Come on, Triton, give it to me. Give me the trident.
Exactly. I mean, as a game, that's what I mean. As a game, it's fantastic. Like, you find Atlantis, like you fight all these mythical characters. I think I mentioned a couple of podcasts ago, sorry, Dinocast. Should correct myself.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic game. Like you're running around like ancient buildings, and it's a fantastic game. But there's no connection to Assassin's Creed other than the abilities you use throughout the game, and it's just it really took me out. So yeah, I'd have to say that one to be honest. Because all the others I really enjoyed. I really enjoy the connection, and the other thing about the Assassin's Creed games as well was the ability to you find a place or a building or a city, and using the money that you collect and stuff, you can rebuild it all and make it like your own little Creed type thing. And there was none of that. And it's just like, see, that's another element I really enjoyed. Whereas Valhalla, I haven't come across anything you've got to rebuild yet with your money yet. Other than it's not rebuilding, it's building your civilization up. So you land in England as a Viking, and you build up your town, and you start building. So loads of tents pop up with people that want to join your clan and stuff, and then you collect building materials and stuff, and then you can make them a house and stuff like that. So it's bringing it back slightly like that as well. So I really like that. And I've just found the assassins have come to my little town, and they've just introduced me to the Creed. And so there's a link to the Creed, and it's just like, yes, it's bringing it back to its roots. And I don't understand the criticism, really. I'm really enjoying it. So
wouldn't Viking times again be long before the Assassin's Order?
Well, no. I mean, the Assassin's Creed Origins starts off in Egypt. And
yes.
That is supposedly when it all started. And your character is one of the first to start the Creed, right at the end of the game, actually. So, yeah, I loved that one. That Origins was fantastic. Really, really good.
But your least favourite?
No. The least favourite was Odyssey.
Sorry.
Odyssey, yeah. There's so many now. There's so freaking many. Yeah, as a game, Odyssey I loved, but yeah, the disconnection was like the direction they were going. I didn't enjoy. But yeah, Valhalla I'm enjoying, so I'm really looking forward to Mirage.
Oh, I was confusing Origins and Odyssey all along. You see, they both start with O, and I've not played them. So I thought the whole time you were talking about fucking Odyssey, I thought you were talking about the one in Egypt, the one that everyone loves.
Oh, Egypt, man, I loved running about Egypt, running up the freaking pyramid. Yeah, I loved that. Actually loved that. I ran, funny enough, I ran part of the route because I did a cruise ship over in Egypt, and I visited some places, and the best, or one of the little quirks I find about the game, which I absolutely love, is the ability to run to a place you have been.
Yeah.
And I love that. So it's just a personal little thing. But yeah, so I was running to some of these places that I've been to. And of course, it's all back in time. So like nothing's recognisable other than obviously the big buildings like the pyramids and the Sphinx and stuff like that. But in terms of buildings, yeah, like nothing's recognisable. Of course it wouldn't be. But yeah, you can run to the places that you went to. Because I did it with the one when you went to Venice. I can't remember what one that was. Was that Brotherhood? That might have been Brotherhood. I can't remember. Correct me in the comments. Which one was Venice? Let me know which one Venice was. It was such a long time ago. But yeah, in Venice, I actually managed to run to the hotel I stayed in. It was there. I couldn't believe it. It was like just the same shape and everything. I was like, holy crap. So yeah, I love that little quirk. But yeah, no, really looking forward to Mirage because it goes back to a character, as far as I understand it, it goes back to a character you met in a previous Assassin's Creed game, like one of the early ones, and it follows his story. So yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, that's all I've been playing. What about you, sir?
I have, well, by the time this comes out, we'll have released a short of what I have been playing doggedly and with every possible spare second I can find. And that, of course, is Tears of the Kingdom. A game I got on day of release and I held off playing. Well, I didn't get on day of release because I bought it off. I'm not gonna name and shame them. It could happen, you know. They failed to deliver it to me on day of release. I got it the next morning, but I was out that day, so I essentially didn't get to play a couple of hours on the Friday. You know, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours on the Friday night, depending when I finally wanted to go to bed. And I finally got to play a bit of it on the Sunday, and I was disappointed.
Oh!
I was sat there just going, well, this is literally the same tutorial as the last game to start off with. Oh, look, there are robots. They're different robots, but this is the same as the last game. Okay, now we're going to jump out into the world. And this is still, by and large, just the same as the last game. This is after the beginning opening cutscene, which was very, very cool. But, like, gameplay-wise, I was like, it's just like... And I didn't like the way it tutorialed, like, giving you so many of the upgrades so quickly. And Breath of the Wild did the same thing. But gave you so many of the upgrades so quickly, it's like, well, why not just start the game with them? Rather than unlock them and make it makes them feel less special. And then I jumped out into the world, and now I've played 100 hours of it, and it's fucking amazing. And I love everything about it. I do get that you've got to intro people who maybe didn't play the last one or haven't played the last one for several years. Because the last one was released, I think, in 2018. It's been a big gap. There's been a big gap between them. But I only got my Switch a couple of years ago. I think I got it. I either got it the first Christmas of lockdown or the year or a little before. Because I got it I basically got it the year before I got my Series X, and it was my most played console in a long time. And then I got my Series X, which I adore. But yeah, no, Tears of the Kingdom has everything Breath of the Wild had, but better. With one exception, It's fine now that I've played a lot of time and I know where to get them and stuff, but I was disappointed that you have to collect bombs again, because I really liked breaking convention and just being, you've got bombs. But now I do have something, and I'm not gonna give you any spoilers in this whatsoever, really. So I might say something out of hand that vaguely alludes to something, but I've not done most of the plot. I've just been fucking about. I've just been running around going, I'm distracted by this thing now, and I'm going to go over there, and then I'll find a different thing. And then I'll find a bird with a weird quest, and I'll be like, all right, I'll just talk to this bird and do this then, whatever.
I love that about the Zelda games. You can just wander off. It's great.
Yeah, it's just like the last one. The last one was so strong on... It's really hard, because before this was released, now I always said Breath of the Wild was probably an 8 out of 10, maybe a 9 out of 10. It was largely like all these other big sandbox games you get. It was just Nintendo's spin on it, which is great. But like, that was a couple of years removed playing it. Now that I'm actually playing it again, I am just absolutely, like, I am almost blind to its flaws while I'm playing it. And I've played, my clock when I last looked was at 75 hours. And I know some of that time is just leaving the controller while doing it, like making dinner or something. I'll leave it on pause, I'll eat dinner, and then I'll go back and play another hour or something. One night, I woke up at 1 in the morning or so, holding the controller, sat in front of it, because it's constantly just, Oh, I'll have just one more Pringle. I'll just have one
Yeah,
more
yeah,
Pringle.
yeah.
Oh, what's that Pringle? I'll just have that one Pringle. And the next thing you know, you're asleep, covered in like bits of biscuit, and there are Pringles tubes everywhere, and you've just had a wonderful time, and you should feel no shame for that. But yeah, it's the level of addictiveness of this game is really, really something quite awesome. And again,
Oh,
when
wow.
when I'm
Yeah.
done with it, I'm certain the flaws will become more apparent. Like there's some stuff that I see flaws in, but I just ignore it. Like gluing stuff together is not a particularly fantastic or well like brought out mechanic. But I once glued together so many bit planks of wood that I couldn't glue any more together. It wouldn't let me. And I just had this enormous plinth of wood I was just swinging around for no reason other than I could, because I had loads of planks of wood. And then it started getting stuck, and eventually it got stuck and the game got confused and the whole thing exploded into its component parts. And I probably spent 25 minutes fucking about with that. So how many bits of wood can I stick to this? Oh, it's getting massive now. Oh, this is ridiculous. I found another bit of wood, we'll stick that. And then just it all exploding in the thing. And I laughed and I laughed and I just went and then got distracted by something else. I probably saw a golden apple in a tree, so I started doing that and then got attacked by a tree, and then I'd forgotten what I was previously doing because now I'm fighting a tree, and then I'm going to go do something else. It's
Was that the
it's-
building mechanic? Because that's actually in the trailers. So I think you're right to touch on that.
yeah, yeah, it's fine. It's workable. I think that's the best
Okay.
way of putting it. And to be fair, if you're of that kind of mind, they've added a very basic kind of fun building mechanic kind of thing. I'm
Okay.
not necessarily into that. Me and my friend actually have a stupid thing. I've not sent him a message yet. There's okay. This is the mildest of mild spoilers. There's an NPC in the game who's holding up signs. And despite
Right.
the fact that you've already seen him 20 times and done this before, he's too stupid to put a couple of planks of wood up against this sign so it doesn't fall over when he lets go. And normally near him is a bunch of shit you can glue together to hold his sign up for him. And the goal is to use as many things as you possibly can, just wasting your time because he's got this skinny pole, and just to make it as ridiculous as possible. That's a stupid little thing you can do. Don't need to. You need 3 bits of wood. Hold it one side, other side, front. And that'll stop it falling over. But if you can use 7 rocks, 3 trees, 14 planks and a wheel, well, then you win.
Brilliant.
But unlike Breath of the Wild to a degree,
Yes.
so not necessarily unlike. I'd say this maybe doesn't have more story than Breath of the Wild, but I certainly find it more compelling.
Okay.
There, in the last games, you'd go to Zelda's memories. There's a similar mechanic in this that tells you the story, and I'm super into the story. I really, really like it. I do know why it's swinging such a thing with me, but I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to spoil anything. But other than that, a lot of the stuff that you liked and a lot of the stuff they did in the last games is back. The temples are more. I quite liked the idea of the temples in the last one being those. They were like the guardian creatures, weren't they? As like
Yeah.
to go inside the big mechanical element and elephant and reset it and deliver it from evil. They've kind of gone back to more traditional dungeons in this one, and they're so much better. I'm having a wild time. I quite liked that mechanic in the last one, but this time they're so much better. They're proper dungeons and everything and thing.
Oh, excellent.
But yeah, no, it's wonderful, and like I say, when I'm finished, I'm sure its flaws will become more clear. But I am now in the midst of playing it, and I'm still at the point where, like, the minute I get home and I have an evening for today, today I got home and I stuck my dinner on, and I'm like, I can get 40 minutes in before this bit of meat needs turning over. Then I can get another 10 minutes while while it's kind of cooking the other side and all my veg is doing. And then I can eat that. Oh, then I can probably get 20 minutes in before I need to start setting up to meet Adam and stuff like that. And like, it's rare a game. It's not rare a game hooks me like that, but it's rare a game hooks me like that for as long as this has. And I don't feel like I've got a massive list of subquests I haven't done, so I don't feel like I'm anywhere near heading towards the end of this game.
Excellent.
And I'm not, and I don't want it to end. Like, I actively, if they can release a DLC before I finish this story, and I can find out without spoilers that it's not a tacked on bit that ruins the ending or changes the ending, then I will just log that into this game and play more of it before going to the ending, because that's how I like to play these games. It's it's really, really great, and like, I enjoy doing really silly things. Like, you'll see this short coming up. That came about because I saw the subject of the thing in a weird place. I'm like, that can't be what I think I'm seeing. So I ran over and then I jumped at it, because you just jump at everything here. You're like, I do like kind of playing this as a Spider-Man simulator. Oh, there's a thing. I'm going to just leap on it and attach to it, and hopefully it's not going to kill me when I start climbing about on it. But yeah, and then I realised that this... I'm not gonna say, but I managed to get on this thing, and it was ridiculous, and the way I did it, and it completely changed what this thing is for me and what I think about this thing, because I assumed it was more a choice of something to have in the background that you could often see from afar, and you think, oh, that's kind of cool, and like, there'd be a way to interact, but not necessarily like fully interact. And then, like, what it's actually doing, what the game has it doing, is very very interesting and very unique. And that kind of blew my mind a bit. Like, the thing that's in the clip, I did that for 40 minutes. And I did not get bored. You got like 20 seconds. I did that for like 40 minutes because I wanted to follow the route and see what happened. And it did not disappoint. And I just kept going on it, and it was just fantastic.
Excellent.
And that's what this game is. This game is just a giant, silly sandbox to play in, and yeah, go nuts. It's delightful.
Yeah,
it is delightful. And also, slight bonus for me. I was thinking I was going to have to rush it because Suicide Squad was coming out of the May and System Shock Remake was coming out at the end of May, and neither of those ended up happening because I didn't realise the System Shock Remake is PC only at this stage. It's not come to Xbox yet. And Suicide Squad got punted into next year, hopefully, so they're going to make it good. Because if this is another Gotham Knights, I'm going to be pissed. I'm going to be really pissed off. There's a new Gotham Knights for me to rag on as well now. There's a TV show of the same name and a somewhat similar premise, which is also fucking terrible. Like, as in, they should be a bit ashamed of themselves for having put this crap out. Of having basically gone, we've worked up a treatment for an Arrow spin-off that got canned. Let's make it a bit more Batman. Put some Batwoman in there. It's by the same people. It's so just terrible. Release good Batman things. I got reminded today, I was talking on a forum today about there's a new Batman cartoon coming out called Batman the Caped Crusader. Unrelated to any other current projects. But I got reminded that one of the writers on it is Ed Brubaker, who is a constant top 3 comic book writer for me. So I got super excited about that again today. That's completely unrelated to Breath of the Wild and or anything else.
I was going to say.
You know, we the conversation moved on to Batman slightly, and probably will do again.
I actually need to correct myself. Back when I was talking about Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I said it's bringing back a character from a game previous that you've already met. I don't know where I got the idea from, but I thought it was an earlier game. It's actually not. It's a character from Valhalla. And it's Basim from Valhalla. In fact, the guy I've just met, like 2 days ago, when he came to my village. So yeah, apologies if you heard that and you're like, hang on a minute, he's wrong, it's from Valhalla. Yeah, I'm correcting myself. So yeah, anyway,
and apologies if you didn't know that and Adam's just given you a massive spoiler.
Yeah, oh
well. Boy, you've been watching, my friend.
Okay, so nothing new, so I'll just sort of more for catch up really. So I've been watching more Will Trent, which is a TV series, and Special Agent Will Trent. He's got like really bad what's the word, when the letters get all jumbled up, dyslexia. Yeah,
you went over this last time. He's the guy. He has to rely on subtle context clues and being better at reading people and evidence than everyone else because he can't.
Classic.
Read.
Yeah. Classic character. Yeah.
He's still like Monk.
So yeah,
Is that still a thing?
I loved Monk. Yeah, it's still on.
I was kind of like a baton passing from Columbo because Peter Falk got old, and then you got a new kind of fun, quirky. Is he a bit on the spectrum? Is he not kind of detective character? That was fun. I watched some of that.
It's along those lines, definitely. So yeah, still watching that. Still really enjoying that. Really, really good fun. And we've actually gone back to a series we completed because we absolutely love it, and that's Supernatural. So that aired from 2005 to 2020, and we are already up to season 5. So yeah, we're ploughing our way through that. We own every single episode. So yeah, really love that.
Did you watch the spin-off? The Winchesters. I only know about it because it had Tom Welling in it.
No, I haven't. I haven't watched that actually.
Oh, that's one to keep an eye out for.
It. Yeah, I did hear about it, but I didn't. I haven't read too much into it. So yeah,
that guy from that is it Jensen Ackles?
Jensen Ackles, yeah, is he in it?
No, he's not. No. It's I think it's a prequel show. But I'd just say his career is absolutely going from strength to strength now, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he's
getting work everywhere since that show ended.
Really pleased for him actually. He's meant to be a really, really, really nice dude to work with as well.
He No, never mind. I'm not sure if that's correct. Oh no. he was he was an absolute highlight of the last season of The Boys, and they've just released a trailer for the new season. So
yes, I still want to watch that. I still want to watch that.
Not with your kids. Do not let your children see that show.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's interesting, like when you go back to a series, like if it holds up to modern times or not. You know, or whether you go back to a series and you're like, oh, this is dated, but I still love it. But you know, or you go back to it and you're like, oh, I love this, and it holds up. Well, I think Supernatural holds up. I really do. Yeah, we're in, say, season 5 now, and yeah, it's fantastic. It's kind of like Friends. Friends like looks dated on some of the first series and stuff, but all the jokes and all it's still as funny. Like you can watch that over and over again.
I don't think the humour in that has aged particularly well.
Oh really? Oh, see, we differ there then. Yeah, no, I love it. I could watch those over and over again. But yeah, other than that, not.
I was going to say something else. If you can find it, and again, I don't know how well this will have dated. There was a wonderful show in a similar vein called Reaper from the late 2000s. Maybe I've brought this up before when we've spoken about Supernatural. That's very, very funny.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a little show about it's not it's a CW style show, so it's not like excessive violence or gore or swearing or stuff, but it's it's a very, very funny show about a look it up, you'll like it. I think it's very much your cup of tea.
Okay, yeah. Perhaps I'll check it out. Now I seem to remember you mentioning that before. But yeah, no. We're still watching SWAT. That's quite good. Still watching the same things really. Nothing new. What about you? What have you been watching?
I have not been with Breath of the Wild. It has really been taking the place of watching stuff. I don't watch a lot of TV anyway, but I blasted through.
You mean Tears of the Kingdom?
Tears of the Kingdom, yeah. Sorry, because it's so similar. No,
yeah, really
I'm so used to just saying Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom, kind of not sinking in. I don't know why. So I blasted through season 3 of Picard. Oof, hated that. I was literally my Star Trek friends loved it, and I'm like, this is literally everything I did not want this show to be. It was like a lovely victory lap for all the actors and the characters and stuff like that. And if they'd have called it Star Trek: The Next Generation Reunion or something like that, I wouldn't have had a problem. But I do have a problem because Picard season 1 and 2 are incredible. Like, they are just drilling into the character of Picard, and they're doing interesting new things with where he is now and why he is what he is and what's happened to the people surrounding him. And season 3 just pretty much takes a sledgehammer and undoes all of it, like right down to reversing a death from 23 something years ago. Like, it's so goddamn lame. Just really? Yeah, just this sad, like, not for the people involved. I'm sure the people involved, like the actors, I'm sure it meant the world for them to work together again. I don't mean in any way they should have turned the script down or anything like that. Like, if that's what they wanted to make, that is absolutely fine. But for me, on what I will call a corporate level or something like that, just making a wishy-washy apology for any strides forward they've made in the 25, 30 years since this part of the franchise hasn't been a thing, and wanting to go backwards and wanting to give like a warm hug. I'm not interested. I don't care, because I saw that back then.
Yeah.
Like, trying to... It's farming nostalgia, and I find it very cynical, and like, and again, it's a me problem because my friends are having the best time and they're like, oh my god, this was so cool when this happened. I'm like, I rolled my goddamn eyes and wish I hadn't started watching season 3. Like, I hated it so goddamn. It doesn't help
That's
that
a shame.
it spends 8 episodes on not. It spends eight interminable episodes on the thing that obviously isn't the main threat, and I was so goddamn bored of doing the least interesting thing you could possibly do with that as well. Like, the one thing I really liked about it is it brought in this new character, this new captain, and he kind of had a stick up his ass, and he kind of like, and he adds a depth, and he had like a bit of a story arc and stuff like that. Really, really liked him, so of course they killed him off, but really, really was enjoying him. But like this, I complain about this with season 2 of Discovery, which I've never gone back to watch any more of. It's like the structure of the writing fell off a cliff as well as doing a thing I didn't want. Like, there's an episode in this where 3 different characters, like, it comes to a scene in a bar and it cuts to it 3 times, and 3 different characters loudly announce what they're feeling and why they have a problem with each other, and why that is going to be used to solve the next problem. Like, that's just terrible script writing. And I don't understand. I was so angry and disappointed. But I'd started it so good. One of the great things about OCD, oh, I'm hating this. Oh, cool. I guess I better watch another 7 hours of it, though, because I've started it.
Absolutely.
So I guess I can't not. So there was that. I really, really liked the first episode of Beef. I was really getting into that.
Okay.
And then some stuff come out about one of the leads, and it kind of tainted my enjoyment of it a little bit, so I'm just waiting for myself to kind of calm down.
Simmer down. Yeah.
Simmer down, and just to see if anything comes of it, because it's what has come out is pretty fucking awful. If yeah, so whatever. But speaking of pretty fucking awful, I went to see The Flash.
Was it that bad?
Well, no, I'm talking about
was
Ezra
good.
Miller.
Okay.
I really right. So the Flash is a really interesting film. It is an absolute fucking mess, and it is absolutely like, God, how can I put this? It is the last thing a Flash movie should ever have been. Like, it takes a massive piss on the entire franchise and what he is as a character and this, that, and the other, while also being really, really strongly, like, doing a really fantastic job of actually getting to the core of the character as he has been since Jeff Johns destroyed his character. But that's a story for another goddamn day. But with the new origin and that, like, with the origin everyone will know now, which is his mother was killed when he was a child. He knows his dad is innocent, but his dad has been in prison the whole time. So the reason he became a cop and everything is to try and clear his father's name and everything like that. So, like, all of the stuff with him and his mother and stuff like that is fan-goddamn-tastic. And at points, I got really annoyed watching it, because I'm like, Ezra Miller's a really fucking good actor, but a terrible human being who had a massive breakdown. And I'm like, I'm not giving him the benefit of the doubt for having a breakdown, but because, he still hurt a lot of people and was really fucking awful and is going to get away with it because people in Hollywood does, and that shit should absolutely be condemned and everything like that. I hope to never have to see him in a film again, but he's a fucking great actor. But yeah, and so the whole film is kind of like that. It's kind of like, oh, here's a big plus, here's a giant negative. Like, so it's up to you how you want to take this. So Michael Keaton's Batman is in there. And you can take it as a continuation of those original Batman movies, which I don't. I take it as another universe that happens to have a similar Batman. That goes on a whole arc. And, like, by the end, like, the whole third act is really... I wonder if they needed another hour to tell the story they're telling, because it kind of... But also, like, the way it escalates and so rapidly gets worse and devolves almost feels like a choice. It's very strange. Me and my mate both came out saying it was a very odd movie, like a very strangely structured movie and a very strangely put together. And like, it's this weird comedy thing. But I was laughing all the way through it, and I did enjoy the vast majority of it. But I didn't come out thinking it was a good film. I came out thinking, well, that was a pile of trash, but I did have fun watching it. My favourite part of one of my favourite parts of the whole movie is like this bizarre, obscure reference for, I would suggest, 1% or less of the audience who watched it, right? Here comes a spoiler for my favourite cameo in there. So, you know how Christopher Reeves was Superman?
Yeah.
Did you know that Nicolas Cage was nearly Superman?
I did not.
Right. There is a photo that long since surfaced of Nicolas Cage in a Superman suit with long hair from the 90s. Now, that was going to be a project called, I believe, Superman Lives. And it was originally to be written by Kevin Smith, the Clerks guy. One of my...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Big comic fan and everything like that. The project got given over to Tim Burton, who had previously rebooted Batman and stuff. He brought on his own crew, this, that, and the other. But in trying to write that, Kevin Smith relates a story about the producer of the movie insisting there be a giant mechanical spider. And Kevin's just like, that's really fucking stupid. That was non-negotiable. So he wrote in this giant fucking mechanical spider. The movie obviously never got made. It fell apart. The giant mechanical spider is in Wild Wild West, which is that same producer, right? The Will Smith movie? Wiki Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
This movie has the Flash collapsing multiverse in on itself. So you see the Christopher Reeve Superman. And it's quite cute. He actually meets up with... the Supergirl from the 80s, Kristen something, like they stand together, and that's quite an iconic moment and stuff like that. But you get a Superman costume, you're like, oh, it's going to be Henry Cavill, and then it's fucking Nicolas Cage as Superman fighting a giant spider, and it's one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I was laughing so hard I nearly fell out of my goddamn chair. And that is a reference that is there for a tiny number of people. Yeah, it's nice. They got Nicolas Cage in a Superman. I'm sure your average audience will go, oh, cool, Nick Cage is Superman. And there's the people who just know the Nick Cage meme. But that is directly referencing a 90s movie that didn't happen. And it's the fucking greatest. Also, here's a giant spoiler for the end. So, like, the gag is that, and they actually touch on this, Flash goes back in time to his childhood. That's the crux of the movie, right? Yep. So what he realizes is that actually he's not necessarily in his own timeline. He's branched two timelines together, and that leads to complete differences in both timelines. So Ben Affleck isn't Batman because a large bunch of variables going both forward and backward in time, because time is not in fact linear, are very much changed. So Michael Keaton's Batman started years and years and years earlier. That's why he's as old as he is, and this, that, and the other. And that leads to change throughout all of history. So that is why you get the Flash fighting alongside the Michael Keaton style Batman, and he's got the Batplane, and he's got the car, and all of the awesome stuff like that. And the movie ends. Here's the big spoiler. It's a terrible ending for a movie, But the movie ends, flashback in his own timeline. Bruce Wayne pulls up, expecting Ben Affleck to be restored. It's George fucking Clooney! Not even close to being my least favourite Batman, because Jesus Christ, Batman and Robin is like my ultimate guilty pleasure movie. I love that film with a passion when I'm drunk, and I've watched it a million times. So, like, him rocking up at the end, I'm just like, oh, just kill me now. This movie can't possibly get better. And then it just ends on a weird sitcom-y beat. And then it has, like, a weird, stupid Aquaman is drunk thing at the end. But, yeah, no, like, it's so interesting. It's so interesting that batshit insane bizarre film came out of someone who was spiraling through a personal crisis while making it. Weird film, and people are loving it because for the most part, people going to watch a movie don't care if it's good. They care if they like it. And
they care if they're having a good time.
That is absolutely the right way to watch a movie. I can watch certain things like that. Like, I loved Morbius. I understand that Morbius is a pile of shit, and it's a meme, and it's probably the fact that it became such a meme is why I enjoyed it so much. But I have watched that movie several times, and it is just really fucking stupid and really fucking bad. But I can switch off and enjoy something like that. Whereas The Flash, I felt, was distractingly so. Yeah, but like I say, if a general audience is enjoying it, well, it's not. I don't think it's doing that well financially. But if a general audience is enjoying it, then DC needs all the goddamn help it can get, because Black Adam didn't do well, and then Shazam did worse, and then I think this is doing better than Shazam 2. But I actually thought Black Adam was a very good, for what it was, comic book, that style of comic book movie. It's it's trying to be a bit edgier than what Marvel does, but it's basically a Marvel style comic book movie. I thought it was fun for that. Whereas Shazam 2, God, I tried so hard to like Shazam 2, and I did like it, but it isn't a deeply flawed movie to the point that I couldn't excuse it. And I feel the same about, but no, I don't feel the same about it. I think the Flash is just an absolute insane mess of a thing. I am baffled as to how it came out in this state, but it is what it is.
I was really looking forward to it because I'll still watch it, but
no, people are really loving it. I think it's aggressively stupid and bizarre, but I'm a Flash fan and I'm a comic book fan, and this isn't the kind of movie I want to be seeing from this character at the very least. Like, if there was a Plastic Man movie with this tone and stuff, I'd probably be having an absolute whale of a time. But I was discussing it in a forum. I likened it to a goddamn Pauly Shore movie from the 90s. Like, it's that kind of stupid. Which I don't like, but another guilty pleasure. I love the movie Biodome, and I know that's terribly acted, terribly written. Half the jokes are straight up offensive today, but I do find that really funny. That is the one of that kind of stoner, like so stoned they appear to have brain damage kind of dumbass movie. That's my one, and I don't know why that one. I must have caught it at the right time. That would have been one of the things I saw when me and my buddy used to get a crate of beer and then go to Choices before it was Blockbuster, and you'd rent 4 videotapes for £1 because they were trying to flock DVDs downstairs, and we'd get 8 movies and a shit ton of beer and pizza and watch all of this dumbass shit. And I'm sure that would be when I saw that. So it's still got this little thing in the back of your brain, but that bit where they're talking really serious about flushing them out, and then they play the safety dance really loud is hilarious. Yeah, that is objectively very funny.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are other jokes in the movie that aren't just horrible, but you know.
Yeah. I mean, because I really enjoyed the series, The Flash. Like,
I mean, season 1 was good, and then
story arc.
It's.
I mean, yeah, it did get a little bit silly towards the end, but yeah, I still really enjoyed that. So I was. Like,
I got
really
up
looking forward
to
this.
the season with Mirror Master, or the Mirror Monarch, I think they called her. Don't know why.
Okay, yeah.
And that. That was too much. It was too much. I have a very low tolerance for CW style shows anyway. Like I listen to a weekly Talkville, Smallville podcast, called Talkville. It's Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor, and Tom Welling, who played Clark Kent / well, he wasn't Superman, Clark Kent, and they go through every single episode, and I'm listening to this and I'm going, maybe this show was better than I remember it being. Because I watched every goddamn episode of Smallville, and I don't think that got good until season 8. Like, there were moments, and every time they started doing something interesting, they completely put... Like, they brought in James Masters as Milton Fine / Brainiac, and they kind of used him a bit for 6 or 7 episodes, and then he just disappears for ages, and it got terrible. Oh, God, that show is so frustrating. But I'm really enjoying listening to going over it, because they're calling out the shit, but they're also, like... They're giving a real insight into what the studio wanted and why it was the way it is. And to a degree, it's harshening a lot of the edges of the stuff I don't like. Because, like, I barely clawed my way through as much of the Arrowverse as I can, as it got more and more teen angst soap opera-y shite. But I do understand that's... Like... That network has never got over, because it used to be WB, right?
Yeah.
It has never got over the fact that its biggest hits were, like, I don't know Dawson's Creek was definitely on it. I'm certain that it was stuff like Dawson's Creek and probably the OC and stuff like that, and Smallville. And, like, because TV networks are what they are, like, it doesn't surprise me remotely. They're still going, well, this is the thing that worked 23 years ago, so that's what you have to do. And, like, they don't understand that times are changing. It's always the same stuff. You see it with everything. They're always like, oh, well, TV audiences are going down. That's why our ratings are bad. No, if you put on a better product, you will get a bigger share of the... No, we're about where we've always been, so this is all we can be. No, you can literally make better shows. But they're also petrified... Yeah, they're also petrified of losing the minuscule audience they already have, that they just pump out the same crap to a smaller and smaller audience year and year and year until, you know, eventually it kind of starts seeing them off. But, Christ, those Arrowverse shows, I mean, I will quite often say the first season of each has some merit. Like, I liked season 1 of The Flash, despite the fact that the amount of time, I think there is a cardinal sin in making a TV show about the fastest man alive, in which almost every before ad break ends with a villain getting round a corner and the Flash not going, oh wait, I'm as fast as sound. I can get round that corner, and he can still only be maybe half a block away. I can definitely catch him. But he just runs, looks round the corner. Oh, they've disappeared. The amount of time. And I noticed it really early on, and I could not let it go. And they're still doing it in the season that I stopped watching. They're still doing it. I'm like, oh, just kill me. Just why is this so bad? But
I mean, realistically, like, how long would it take a fastest man
exactly
to quickly search around like 5 blocks. Every single street.
Exactly.
I mean,
It's
come on.
ridiculous. Like, this is why, those shows, they had 9 years? I think it's 9 years. One of the biggest things with The Flash is the rogues, right? Captain Boomerang, Mirror Master, Captain Cold, sometimes Pied Piper, Trickster, Golden Glider, I think she was in the show. Another one I'm forgetting. There's another one. They pal around together because their powers complement each other while they're pulling one over on the Flash. That's been a thing in the comics for a very, very long time, and that's kind of come and gone. And it's Jeff Johns, back when he was good, really molded that more into an ongoing thing, because those characters have been off the table for about 20 years. On and off, and he really molded it into something fascinating that could have been an entire season of the show. Like, season 1 should have been setting up these characters, and season 2 should have been the rogues, because you've got 7 completely different characters, each with a completely different strength. Slowly tempers fray, egos get out of control, like they slowly take over the city, and then it starts fracturing, and the Flash has to get to the point where he can take them down one at a time, because actually altogether they're too much for him, because it makes the hero the underdog. You know, they could have done all of this interesting stuff, and instead they did Zoom for 5 of their 9 seasons as the big bad? 6?
Yeah.
Just, better do Zoom again. Barry's beat him 20 times. No, it has to be Zoom again. Like, the first 3 seasons were exactly the fucking same. And I got so angry. I really liked season 1. I forgave a lot of its kind of sins, but Christ. Season 3 just absolutely killed me. Absolutely killed me. Oh no, we've got this really cool thing of Barry from the future, and it's like, yeah, but it's not cool because we've spent so long getting there that I don't care. And then when you've done the reveal, Barry kind of beat him and he went away for an episode. It's like, why are you so bad at writing television? Why can you not write a compelling narrative? But no, back to Smallville, right? I don't know where all this came from or whatever. Back to Talkville, sorry. Yeah, and they are kind of explaining that, Michael Rosenberg comes out with this really interesting thing, right, really early on, where it's basically saying, our philosophy, and this is backed up by data, is most people watch 1 in every 4 episodes. Like, what? Apparently, that is, or at the very least, used to be a thing. It's 22 episodes a year. Most people will watch a quarter of them. So that's why the main show writers would do about 1 in every 4 episodes. Those episodes would get most of the budget, have the big plot points, and they're the ones Warner Brothers would heavily promote.
Right.
And The Flash was obviously the same, and Arrow was obviously the same. They were still doing, they were still putting out TV the same way all this time later with that many episodes and everything. So presumably they still had the same... And it may even be completely accurate that people still, on those big long shows like that, watch 1 every 4 episodes. I mean, it does make sense, because there's got to be a reason that, American TV, channels like E4, I think over here, work like American TV. With all of those... all of those reruns, and they're showing the same shows in rotation constantly and stuff like that, and you've got to wonder, is that because they've seen 4 episodes of this season of The Flash or whatever, so they come in on a different night and they've seen a different episode of that season or whatever, and they don't care that it's non-sequential. Because the episodes just are largely set up. 1 in every 4 will have a big move towards the main plot going forward, and the last 3 or 4 will all be that thing. But otherwise, there'll be a completely throwaway one-shot villain or something, and then the end will kind of suggest something more serious, and the people watching every week are sitting there going, oh, but that ending is, oh, it's bringing this thing. Whereas actually, you could have just watched the last 5 minutes and not be any the worse for wear. And again, I can't do that. Like, if I'm watching a show, I have to watch the whole thing. Like, It is only because I find those shows so utterly torturous that I stopped watching them. If they'd stayed around the level of season 2 or 3 of each of them quality-wise, I probably would have watched all of them to the end. But I just couldn't. Like, wait.
I wonder what that statistic would be like in England, because obviously our series are a lot different, aren't they? Like, they're a lot shorter for starters.
Yeah, our TV shows, our TV is a lot different. But then again, a lot of our stuff is still episodic. Like even Sherlock, to a large degree, was episodic.
I need to watch season 4 of that, actually. I've watched season 3. I haven't watched season 4.
That show broke my damn heart.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do you know what? I didn't watch that for the longest time because I thought it was going to be terrible. And I've read all the Sherlock Holmes books, and I'm not the biggest fan of adaptations of him. So I'm just like, but it's Martin Freeman, who I'm not a big fan of, and this, that, and the other. And I watched season 1, and I'm like, do you know what? Actually, that was pretty goddamn good. And I watched season 2, and I'm like, do you know what? That was legitimately fantastic. And then I watched
season 1.
The first episode of season 3, and I was just like, I didn't watch all of it. I turned it off.
Oh, really? You turned it off?
I was just absolutely shocked by whatever the hell they thought they were doing. They just
bringing him back the way they did.
Yeah, as just like, well, fucking Sheldon. Like, oh, I don't understand emotions. I'm trying to be fun. I'm just like, I'm not watching this. This is fucking terrible. And it's like, and I understand you. Maybe you want to go in a different way, and maybe that was leading to a bit of a reveal or a twist or something. But I'm like, this is not. This is so far removed from the show I was watching. I actively don't feel like I'm watching the same thing. Yes, I would never watch another episode.
I guessed it. So at the end of, there's probably spoilers. I don't know. It's
go for it. I'm not going to watch it. So
so like at the end of the previous season, obviously he dies. Like Sherlock dies, and in my head, I'm thinking, he's not dead. Like, I know he's not dead. And I'm thinking, like, if they do another season, they're going to bring him back in, like, such a way. But in my hearts of hearts, I was like, please, for the love of God, do it, like, decent. Do it in a good way. Like, not what they did. It's like, oh, Jesus, really? So it's what they did. Was just like some sort of tongue-in-cheek, oh, hi, I'm alive.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, really? You went for that?
I think I did get as far as the explanation. I think it was the explanation. So maybe that was near the end. I think it was the explanation of how he survived that was when I just clicked off. I think.
Oh, that whole the fact that was it a set of toilets was in his viewpoint, so he couldn't see the big ass like bouncy castle that he just dropped.
Yeah, that was
onto,
it. That was it. Yeah.
And then they moved that around as he walked around. It's like, oh wow, okay.
Yeah, that was it. And I'm like, nope, fuck you. Done.
That was bad. I willingly went through that because I loved season 1 so goddamn much, and I like season 2, and so I've gone through that, and it's getting better again. It's got better again. So if you're willing to ignore
I'm not
how he come back.
It's like
it's right.
the last Assassin's Creed game for me. It absolutely broke any ability to enjoy it I can have again. It was that like
Fair enough.
it was that bad for me. And like mileage may vary. There may be people listening to this, and there probably isn't because there are very few people who listen to this, but I still enjoy doing them. I like talking to you. There might be people who are like, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Those CW shows, those Flash shows and stuff are so well written. You just don't like soap opera. And I'm like, well, yeah. No, I don't like soap opera. Soap opera is trash television, and, you know, there is a place for it, but I don't think soap opera in general is well written. Expecting me to watch 20 seasons of a superhero show that is a soap opera. It's like, I've read 300 million comics. You know, there's soap opera elements
doesn't
in them.
belong in a comic book.
Guess what most of it is? Do you know what most of it is? It's Flash in a red suit running around and fighting criminals, and those criminals being interesting and complex and having interesting stories that revolve over a vast amount of time or maybe a single issue. But they get to the point and they're trying to do a thing. It's not a third of the runtime of a series being Iris and Barry relationship drama. And forcing me to sit through, and increasingly poorly written as well. Like, The Unending Adventures of Cecile. That actress is charming as hell. I enjoyed her very much, but Jesus Christ! Oh. I can't with those shows. I really tried. And I really tried, and I forced myself to the point of, like, rage watching. Well, not rage watching, because I'd always be doing something else at the same time. It would be on my... I've got two monitors here, so I'd be playing a game and I'd have it on the second monitor. I'm not even like sitting paying attention. I'm still going like, this is such poorly produced television. I can't even believe this shit is still being... Just cancel it. I don't care about the millions of people who love it. I want it gone. It's a very, very horrible viewpoint. I'm joking. Like, Gotham Knights can fuck off. Like, that had to be cancelled. But if you were enjoying The Flash all the way through, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely, you know, I have no judgment whatsoever. It's just not for me. Touched on a lot of Flash stuff there.
Yeah.
Starting with the movie. Let me, in case it wasn't utterly clear, to hell with Ezra Miller. Like, I went to see that movie because it had... Like, I went to see that movie because I'm a giant Flash fan. I'm a giant comic book fan. And I had to suck it up and put up with Ezra Miller. Like, ordinarily, I wouldn't have gone to see it. Like, if it was largely anything else, I wouldn't have gone to see it. But I don't pay for it anyway because of the thing. And, like, it was just... Yeah, the whole thing is utterly tainted. And it's not quite the Ezra Miller thing isn't quite a... Do you know what? I'm going to put my hand in front of my mouth and just say, think of the name of a celebrity who is very publicly awful but keeps getting away with it and keeps getting shot. Like, I'm not remotely defending what Ezra Miller is or using this as an excuse for me going to watch the film. I have gone and propped up financially a studio that has backed an absolute piece of shit who did some awful things. But at the very least, Ezra Miller was very clearly having a very public meltdown. A very quick, very violent, very awful public meltdown.
Yeah.
It's not like, I can't even say the name. I've got some names in my head and like... Boo! Because people attach themselves weirdly to celebrities, even though it's been proven in court of law that they have been violently abusive to partners. No, it was the other part. That's giving away too much.
Resist.
No. There is no ethical consumption under capitalism, as they say, which is true. Yeah, so let's start wrapping up, shall we? Is there much been up to outside of TV and it wasn't even what I want to talk about. I mostly wanted to talk about AEW and Across the Spider-Verse. We'll come back to Across the Spider-Verse next week next month because I'll have watched that again. But that is fucking incredible, unbelievable movie. It might be better than the first one. Is the best Spider-Man movie of all time, and it is probably top 3. Maybe top 5 comic book movies of all time. It is a piece of goddamn art. And as an animation fan, as well as a comic book fan, as well as particularly a Spider-Man fan and everything like that, it is a masterpiece. And this one, if they can stick the landing, because this is part 1 of 2, my God, what a trilogy. Oh my God.
I haven't seen it yet, so yeah.
Oh, well, try and watch. Your homework for next month is to try and watch Across the Spider-Verse.
But there are 2 movies I did watch. Which is kind of catching up with you because you, at this point, probably saw them so long ago. I'll do them in order of movies I saw them in. That was Super Mario Brothers. I saw that.
I think we talked about that last time, didn't we? Or you hadn't seen it yet. That was definitely out when we did the last Dinocast.
I can't remember. I know you mentioned you'd seen it, but I don't think I had because this was quite recent. Yeah. But yeah, so I saw that, and so I won't touch on it too much because we've already been over it. But yeah, absolutely excellent movie. Loved that. And then we went and... Well, we didn't go and see. We paid on the TV to see John Wick 4.
Oh, yeah!
Oh, such an awesome movie.
Damn right it is.
Oh, it's just like oozing bullets. It's just like, oh, so good. So good. All the action sequences and even the way... even the way you noticeably see him getting more and more tired.
Yep.
He's trying
Me
to
and my
make his way.
mate were watching a trailer the other day, and I think it might have been for the new Mission Impossible or something like that. And and there's a little clip that looks like they're having like a car chase by the Arc de Triomphe, and we're just like, no, don't ever do that again. You will never do one better than John Wick 4. That is the greatest fight scene in front of that particular monument, and I really hope I've named it correctly there, like, that there will ever and could ever possibly be. Give up, not happening, you're just making a fool of yourself.
Yeah. Just and the bit where he makes it all the way up those stairs.
The stairs.
And then that same goddamn guy comes and just kicks him, and he just rolls all the way back. My God, the anger that induced! I was like, please, God,
exactly, because the movie, the entire movie, and all of those films have been set up on the promise of setup and payoff.
Yeah,
and it's what they constantly do. So the payoff is at the top of those stairs.
Yeah,
exactly. That's where the end of the film is. And they are literally visually constantly showing you the thing you want, the big finale, because this is, for now, the end of the franchise, right? They've said they may come back to it, they may not. But this is, for now, the end of the franchise. And it is showing you right there with a clock counting down, this is the end of this is the end of this movie. This is the end of this part of this series of movies. And it is keeping it from you. It is keeping it from you and making you more and more frustrated because you want to see that thing. You want to see what happens at the top. And, he's almost there. That fucker has kicked him down again.
It's just like
I want to see the thing at the top.
No.
It's masterfully done. Masterfully done.
Good. Yeah. And the way Kane then comes in and goes, do you know what? We need to get you at the top of them stairs.
Because he needs him.
Like, yes.
It's magnificent. Did you watch? Right.
Oh, yeah.
No spoilers for anyone out there, because I'm not going to tell you what it is. Did you watch all of the credits?
Yes. Yeah.
I did not.
Yeah.
I'm furious.
You didn't?
For the first time. But they've never done one before. and so it's the last thing I expected. So anyone who's listening to this, we're not going to say what it is, but you need to watch the end of the credits of John Wick 4 because there's a thing there. And by all accounts, it's awesome.
It is awesome. There is a thing there and it's awesome. Yeah.
I'll do my whole bit about... while we're on what I've been watching, I'll probably do my whole bit on AEW next month because there's a game coming out in the week. Which I don't know if I'm going to be able to play. I'd like to make one of my I love videos and just spend an hour talking about how much I love AEW, but I don't know if I'm going to get the game on release. The thing is, right, despite how much I love AEW and everything about it, it's still not quite on the level of... I knew Gotham Knights was going to be a bad game, but I paid 40 odd quid. I got it as cheap as possible, and I got that on day of release, and I bought it regardless, knowing it was going to be bad, and I was very frustrated through most of it, but it is a Batman thing, so I had to have it, and I had to buy it, and I had to play it as soon as possible. And I don't regret it, because Batman is my thing. Like, as much as I love everything about AEW, and I've spent over £200 getting tickets to go to their live show later this year, I'm not going to spend 40 quid on a video game that I don't think looks great. I'm going to wait till the reviews come out. I was really hoping it was going to come to Game Pass, but I'm going to wait till the reviews come out, and then I'm probably still going to wait till I can get it for about 20 quid. And then you'll get your I love AEW video. And, fingers crossed that's quite quickly, because like the big all-in show is at the end of August in the UK. That's on a Sunday, so if I could put up my video that Monday, that would tie in thematically quite well. But but we'll see. Yeah, there's just one more thing I wanted to bring up, which is a thing I did over my birthday with with Jason. We went to a flotation tank, also known as a sensory deprivation chamber. I have never been so relaxed in my life. Oh my God. Well, I'm very much an up in my head kind of person. Can't shut it off, can't shut the brain off, keep talk, blah, blah, blah. And... like, it was absolutely crazy. Like, it's so weird, just... because you're like... a lot of people seem to think it's just like being in a bath with a lid on. It's not. Like, you're completely floating. Like, you're not touching anything. And there's no weight on you. There's just the water is so heavily salted. You're literally just floating, and it feels like you're just in this absolutely vast, empty space, alone, just with no sound and no light or anything. It's absolutely unbelievable sensation. It took me a little while to get there, but I don't tend to be a particularly panicky person. Like, this is the situation I'm in, so I'm not going to worry about, oh, now there's no sound, or oh, now there's no light. I'm like, this is the situation I'm in, so I'm going to just kind of experience it and, like, lay there and... oh, I had a wonderful, wonderful time. I cannot recommend it highly enough. As long as you're, like... I would say as long as you're not terrified of enclosed spaces, but it is the most... it is perhaps the most I've ever felt. God, it's so, like, it's all in the head, it's all in the imagination, or whatever, but I felt like I was just alone in an endless, motionless sea. And sometimes in space, because you, like, feel yourself kind of, even though you're not moving, you feel yourself kind of floating around and stuff like that. And, like, I felt like there wasn't anything for 1,000 miles in every direction. No light, no anything. There was just, like, me and nothing. It was, yeah, it was really something. It was really, really something. I'm going to go back. I'm going to do them every 3 or 4 months.
Cool.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. I don't know if I'd go for because we did half hour, because you got to test these things out, and you could have just been like, oh, wish I'd brought my fucking phone. But I'd probably do it another half hour just to make sure that, like, I can do it it's not going to be a problem, and then I'll go for the full hour. But yeah, they said most people fall asleep neither Jason or I fell asleep. But yeah, I was just laying there, and sometimes I just kind of, because it's so weird. You can push against the water and you know something's there, but it doesn't feel like anything's there. Like, it's just kind of like, obviously it's so salty and kind of thing, you could feel it a little, it maybe feels a little like goopy aside. It's very, very strange, but it was absolutely wonderful experience. I will highly recommend it. Anyone who's listening who happens to be in Suffolk, I went to For You Now in Ipswich, surrounded by Asda. Both the blokes there were lovely, really knowledgeable, really passionate about what they were doing. They've got a cryo chamber as well. I might try that at one time. I might go do, like, the Ipswich half marathon and go, guys, can you book me into the cryo chamber and just freeze this shit? That'd be pretty cool. But yeah,
be good for the healing.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, right, so you know about cold bringing the blood vessels to the surface. That all kind of, that's all medically sound. I don't know how much actual use of cryo chamber would be, but once you've done something like that, I'm sure it would certainly help to kind of keep everything moving and kind of, yeah, I don't know. I just quite like to do it. I told my mate I wanted to take a photo of me like I'm in a cryo chamber, like Mr. Freeze or something. I think that would be cool. I don't think they allow that, because that would be very silly. But yeah, that's everything I've been up to of note. So we need a word for the fellows.
Okay.
I was going to say followers, and it became fellows. I don't know why. We need a word for the lovely people at home who are listening to this to send to us to prove they've listened this far.
Yeah, I've got one that is kind of linked to this podcast and possibly the short that's about to come out. I think it should be Zelda Never Ending Story.
Okay,
and
well, to be fair, the short will have come out before the Dinocast anyway. Dinocast is next Monday,
exactly.
As we're recording.
So, yeah.
And for those who have not listened and are trying to get in on the cachet of the cool people who have listened, but they're trying to fake it, like faking fakers, you're going to have to put Link's ending story. Yeah.
Oh.
That'll separate the Hylian wheat to the chaff. Couldn't think of another thing. Hylian wheat is a thing in the game. Moblin chaff. Moblin chaff.
Moblin chaff. There you go.
Yeah. All right. This is just kind of wound down. So bye bye.
Awesome. See ya.